All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something really special. We're going to uncover exactly how a kid from Ajax, Ontario, literally transformed himself into an absolute world-class soccer star. If you've been glued to the 2026 World Cup, and let's be honest, who hasn't, you already know the Canadian men's national team is making some serious noise. But today, we're focusing on the absolute bedrock of that success. We're going to break down the wild biography, the underlying stats, and the sheer tactical brilliance of Derek Cornelius. So, quick question for you. Who do you think actually topped the 2026 FIFA Defensive Power Rankings after the opening round of the World Cup? You'd probably immediately guess a household name, right? Maybe some seasoned veteran from the Premier League or La Liga. But nope. Actually, the answer is a breakout Canadian defender who's been quietly, well, actually not so quietly anymore, dominating on the biggest stage imaginable. 17. Okay, just let that sink in for a second. That is the massive number of possession regains Derek Cornelius racked up in just a single opening match against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Literally 17 times he stepped up, took the ball away, and handed it right back to Canada. In the absolute pressure cooker that is a World Cup match, pulling off a number like that is practically unheard of. It was actually the highest figure of any player in that entire opening round. And the crazy thing is, the sheer breadth of his dominance goes way beyond just those 17 possession regains. Looking at the bigger picture, he also logged 13 clearances, won 8 aerial duels, and chipped in 4 blocks and 4 tackles. I mean, the guy was a human brick wall out there. He didn't just play a good game, he structurally dismantled the opposition's entire attack. But it really makes you wonder, right? How exactly do you build a defender capable of putting up a performance like this? Well, that brings us to Section 1, the globe-trotting journey, from Ajax, Ontario to the European stage. Starting with his roots, Derek was born in Ajax, Ontario, with Barbadian and Jamaican heritage. And man, his early ambition was just off the charts. As a youth player, he actually traveled all the way to Northern Ireland to play in the Milk Cup for the CSKA Moscow youth squad, and he casually dropped 4 goals in the tournament. That kind of ambition just kept pushing him. By the time he was 16 years old, he made the massive leap to leave Canada entirely. He decided to go test himself in the hyper-competitive, incredibly demanding German football system with VfB Lübeck. And honestly, that move built immense grit and tactical discipline at a super crucial age for him. Talk about a crazy resume. This whole timeline is just a pure testament to his resilience. I mean, from Germany in 2014, he jumps over to Serbia in 2017, and then crosses the Atlantic again to play in MLS for the Vancouver Whitecaps in 2019. But Europe was calling his name again. By 2023, he's a Swedish champion with Malmö FF, taking home both the league and the cup. And that massive success? It triggered a jaw-dropping $6.4 million transfer to Ligue 1 giants Marseille in 2024. Seriously, what a rapid ascent. Which leads into Section 2, forward turn center back, the positional switch in Serbia. So nestled right in the middle of that timeline is a super fascinating pivot point. When Cornelius first arrived in Serbia back in 2017, he was actually playing as a forward. His whole mindset was wired for goal-scoring instincts and attacking footwork. But his head coach at Javor Ivanjeka, Srđan Vasiljević, saw something entirely different. He saw this guy's physical frame and his raw intelligence and made the call to convert Derek into a center back. And here is the absolute crucial takeaway. By learning how to play as an attacker first, Cornelius basically unlocked the ultimate cheat code. He knows exactly how opposing strikers think, which lets him anticipate their footwork and positioning flawlessly. Let's move on to Section 3, climbing the club ladder, winning championships and earning moves. That brilliant positional switch was the ultimate catalyst for him. I mean, just a year later, he's named the 2018 Canadian Youth International Player of the Year. Fast forward a bit, and he's lifting both the Allsvenskan and Svenska Cupen trophies with Malmö. He completely proves his winning pedigree in Sweden, which directly earns him that huge 4-year deal with Marseille. And, just showing he's always hungry for a high-pressure environment, he secures a loan move in 2025 to the historic Scottish powerhouse Rangers. It's like everywhere this guy goes, he adapts and he just wins. All right, Section 4, Anatomy of a Defender, the physical and tactical traits. We've talked a lot about the journey, but let's actually look at the hard data for a second. At 6'2" and 190 pounds, he is an incredibly imposing physical presence out there. But here is the real kicker. His preferred foot is his left. Now, I literally cannot overstate how highly coveted and insanely rare a left-footed center back is in modern world football. Having a lefty back there completely opens up the passing angles when a team is trying to play the ball out from the back. It makes him an unbelievably valuable tactical piece for any manager. And remember what we said about him being a former youth forward? Well, that history absolutely still bleeds into his game today. If you look at his FOTMOB percentile ranks compared to other center backs, it's wild. He sits in the 84th percentile for touches, the 95th for shot attempts, and the 88th for goals. He is definitely not just a defender. When it comes to set pieces, he is an elite offensive threat compared to almost every other center back on the planet. But hey, don't worry, he definitely hasn't forgotten his day job. Checking out his recent defensive stats with Rangers gives you the complete package. An over 81% pass completion rate really showcases that calm, calculated distribution we were just talking about. Then you combine that with winning over 52% of his ground duels and almost 42% in the air, you've got a player who perfectly pairs that brute physicality with incredibly smooth, intelligent playmaking. And all of this brings us right back to his current role for the national team. Like TSN so aptly put it, alongside Moise Bombito, Cornelius has been an incredibly effective shepherd in the middle of head coach Jesse Marsch's backline. You take Derek's individual dominance and laser-accurate passing, pair it up with Bombito's unique skill set, and boom, you have the absolute bedrock of the Canadian defense. He marshals the backline with total confidence, manages the flow of the game, and fiercely protects his goalkeeper. Which really brings this whole narrative full circle right back to the World Cup. It's honestly no wonder FIFA officially recognized him at the very top of their power rankings for defenders. This is the culmination of years of gritty hard work, strategic positional changes, and all that globe-trotting experience. The guy has officially and undeniably cemented his status as a globally recognized defensive wall. So that leaves us with one final, pretty thrilling question. Canada just secured an absolutely historic 6-0 rout over Qatar, with Cornelius playing a massive role in locking down that shutout. His game is clearly peaking at the exact right moment on literally the biggest stage imaginable. So how far can his defensive ceiling rise as this tournament rolls on? I don't know about you, but I absolutely cannot wait to watch him step onto the pitch for the next match and find out. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled for number 13, and I'll catch you on the next one.